1, 2, 1, 2. Wait a minute. Hold up. I don't see no levels. Hold up. 1, 2. Okay, I see levels. What's up, YouTube? We are in the Philippines, looking real mean. Mad at my fiance, yeah. Hey, y'all, I get breakfast in bed for a whole month. She done lost the stand for the monitor. She done lost the transformer. We went and bought another one. I've been here for 3 days, man. This is the first reaction, so I'm 4 days behind, baby. I don't know what's going on. Y'all got y'all got to do a reaction for Uncle Mike. The album done dropped. It was her birthday, so I stopped everything. This dog getting on my nerves. What's up, dog? The dog getting on my nerves. Anyway, man, how y'all doing? I made it to the Philippines. I'm mad at her. No, I'm not. I'm not mad at her. She can do whatever the heck she want to do. That's my sugums smuggums. Hey, so I'm just getting started. Now brothers got something running in the background, but anyway, check this out, man. I was right at the, let me see something. I'm gonna do a 2-in-1 on 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦 because I don't know what's going on. Dude, I don't know what the heck is going on. Wait a minute. So I'm gonna do, this is the second one right here. I'm just gonna go straight to come up to date. But check this out. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I ain't gonna wrap y'all up. The album is dropped. We're gonna be putting the link so you can go straight to our website and purchase and show your support, or you could do the streaming thing. It's gonna be a couple of links. We're gonna put one link to show you where you can pick your choice, so to speak. A little later on all that stuff. Thumbs up to 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦 tail. See, I've been listening to y'all. I listen. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's see what's happening, man. Let's rock this bad boy. Let's rock. Here we go.
Oh my God, you guys, come in, sit down, and shut the door. We need to talk about what's going on between Diddy and Trump. And we need to talk about the way there seems to be a direct line between Maureen Comey's firing, yes, just saying Maxwell, but also Trump's plans to pardon Diddy. And they are saying that Maureen Comey's biggest fear that she talked about when she was unceremoniously fired, that for decades we have worked without fear or favor, fear of repercussions, and also favor, that we must start bending a knee to too powerful men, to money. Well, in the Department of Justice and the hallmark of American justice, the Southern District of New York, it looks like a new era has been ushered in. And if you believe these reports from the New York Times, the New York Post, Deadline, and also 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦 tells, because if you've been watching this channel, you know last year I was the first person to report that Diddy was seeking a presidential pardon. You can look at the dates and the timestamps. Literally 6 months before my sources said that was what they were pursuing, they called me a liar. They said I was making it up. They said I was doing it for clicks and views. But now the Deadline, New York Times, New York Post, and every single media publication has finally caught up with what my sources told us 6 months before this news was even thought of. Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay, fine. Enough of my commercial, but I told you so. But hit that subscribe button because I do be getting exclusive. I also have an exclusive of what's going on with the just saying Maxwell case, but we got to talk about that in a different video. Anyway, back to what I was saying. It looks like there is a new era upon us where things will be decided with fear in mind, and if not fear, with favor. I know you guys heard the news that Trump is seriously considering pardoning Diddy, but more details have come out. And it seems like, if you can believe these details coming out from reputable mainstream legacy media, okay, there is an added layer. They are saying that Judge Aaron, if he gives Diddy bail, then Trump is looking to pardon Diddy after sentencing. if he gives Diddy bail, then Trump is looking to pardon Diddy after sentencing. However, if Judge Aaron decides to deny Diddy bail, they are saying that Trump is seriously considering pardoning him almost immediately so that he never gets to sentencing. Now, here's what I want to say. With Trump, first of all, you never know what he's really going to do until the signature is on the paper, okay? Everything can change in the blink of an eye. But let's go back to what 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 was talking about, without fear or without favor. To actually hear, okay? To actually hear that, even if it's floating around in the media, that a judge who is looking at keeping a violent, twice convicted sex crime felon, because apparently in the new America, being a PDF file, being convicted of sex trials, beating people to a pulp, being an all-around dirtbag, apparently now, if it's a new age, if you have enough money and enough political power, you can get out of everything. And no, I'm not just talking about Sean Combs, but today in this video, we are focusing on his crimes against humanity, both moral and federal. Imagine being that federal judge. You have a decision to make. You have already denied him bail every other time. And last time you handed him his ASS. Diddy's people were then firing up jets, planning 4th of July barbecues. They just knew that mofo was getting out. Okay? The lead prosecutor that wanted you under the jail was fired unceremoniously. I know you're saying 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Maxwell, but I think it also has something to do with Diddy. She was the heart and soul of the Diddy team. And now that everybody is believing what we told y'all 9 months ago, okay? What we said 9 months ago has now come to fruition. As a matter of fact, everything we said about what was going to happen on Diddy's case has come to fruition in that order. Now all of a sudden we really have to look. Was it a coincidence the way she was fired? Was it a coincidence why it was fired? When she said we cannot let this instill fear in our hearts. We must push forward. I thought she was talking to the prosecutors, but perhaps she was talking to the judges. Perhaps she was talking to Judge Aaron directly. It is no small thing to hear through major media outlets that a president of the United States is seriously considering pardoning someone you are denying bail. And if you give him bail, he will pardon him with sentencing, after sentencing, which sends the signal that you better go light on sentencing, because do you want to be on the bad side of the president of the United States? And it also sends a signal that if you deny him bail, he's going to get pardoned earlier. That is making somebody move with fear and with favor. I don't care what you say. I don't care what side you are on. And by the way, what happened to everybody in the sides they were on? What happened to everybody demanding, oh, we're going to put all the PDF files away. We're going to make everybody pay. Now because what? You voted for somebody? Because you see somebody yourself in that person? What's going on? Then now all of a sudden public outcry is like, well, you know, if they think it's best. Again, is this not what 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 was warning about? Am I the only one seeing a clear line? Maybe that we can speak truth to power and saying none of this makes sense. The jury's decision did not make sense. The way that they were deadlocked and they were like, we cannot come to the agreement. And they sent them home and they came back first thing in the morning and didn't even drop their book bag off and said, never mind, he's not guilty. The way the charges didn't make sense. The way they didn't even believe about the distribution and the violence when they had him on video by his own attempt dragging her back to a freak off that she wanted to leave. And now he is demanding bail again in the middle of this 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Maxwell. We need to start talking about things. Diddy did, in my opinion, style himself as the Black Jeffrey Epstein. Throwing parties, right? Being a little matchmaker, okay? But he could do it better than Jeffrey because he knew where the fun was. He knew how to get people in. He would have you chilling next to your favorite rapper. And that girl you liked or that guy you like, don't worry. According to Mark Curry, we'll let them sip from the special champagne bottle. You know, Diddy has moved around without accountability. And even the closing that Mark Agnifilo did, as much as he said it was the best closing of his career, and it was, if you're into like dirtbag misogynistic stuff, I guess congratulations, you did your job. You made yourself invaluable to criminals. But let me get back to this. Even if you don't believe that Diddy was the Black Jeffrey Epstein, because what they did was different ways, right? At the end of the day, there is a clear arrow being drawn. There is something clear. There is something present, and there is danger out there. And we are the ones that are watching it unfold in real time. Remember when I said that Diddy and his band of dirtbags were harassing bloggers, threatening violence, trying to intimidate people? Because why? Because they wanted the streets quiet so they could pave the way for a presidential pardon. By saying he's repentant, they're setting up a storyline so they can shove it down our throats. But who is buying this? You guys, this new layer adds something. That if he doesn't get bail, he'll be pardoned quicker. And if he does get bail, he'll be pardoned after he's sentencing. This is directly, if it's true, putting your hands with the Department of Justice, putting their hands on the scale. And they are no longer operating without fear or without favor. You guys, please let me know what you think in the comments. This story is developing. I do want to say I was the very first to report this story 9 months ago. Look at God's glory. Y'all said I was a liar. Y'all said, not y'all, but the dummies in the back, right? You said
the dummies in the back.
Unfortunately, I wish to God I was wrong. See, I knew he was going to try to get a pardon. But like I said 9 months ago, who would have thought that the President of the United States is going with his sources saying that he's seriously thinking about it. And the last thing I am going to say about this, because I think a lot of people are a little bit confused. I think that we're hearing about this now because they're trying to get the public used to the idea. And they want to see how much outrage this is and water it down and get the public used to the idea. So by the time that he is released, nobody's really going to care. They're going to say, there's just a distraction. We have bigger things to do. Oh my God, he donated to a charity. Don't you know he loves the kids? Yeah, a little bit too much. Don't you know he loves the women? Please, that's probably his next dating app. He's going to go in-house. Listen, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Let me get out of here. The story's developing. Also, I'm making a video about what's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell, and baby, it is juicy. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Man, I really think that the president need to stay out of the courtroom stuff. You should be the president and give them, the people that's working in the courtroom and all this stuff, give them space to do what they need to do. You shouldn't be jumping in there, period. That's what I think. I'm hoping and praying that it's a bunch of bull. I'm hoping and praying that it is a bunch of bull. But Feds, the man Diddy gets even more time. 10 years after Diddy's camp pushes for pardon. Hey, they push it for 10 years. These roosters, I forgot all about the roosters, y'all. The roosters and the chickens. And where's my breakfast, girl? Where's my breakfast? This girl had everything hidden. I couldn't find nothing. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. This is part 2 right here. Feds is pushing for bigger demands. Let's check it out, man.
Playing with Diddy, and if
They
Diddy
ain't playing,
thought he was
baby.
gonna tootsie roll his way out of jail, he has another thing coming, baby. Diddy asked for an acquittal. Diddy said the Mann Act was racist and violating his constitutional rights. The president Trump stopped stopped in and said, well, guess what? If he's going to, and this is direct from White House sources, if he is going to get bail, then I'll pardon him after sentencing. And if he doesn't get bail, I'm going to pardon him now. Guess what? The prosecution looked at him and said, guess what, Trump? We don't care. But also, Diddy, if you thought you was getting out on time served, you have another thing coming. The president can do whatever he deems fit. But as for you, we're up in the ante. You guys, do you know that the prosecution literally just said that they are seeking an extra long prison term for Diddy, and they're still opposing his bail? You guys, extra long. At first they said they were maybe going to go for somewhere around 5 years. Now they're saying because of the way he is unrepentant, because of new evidence that we found, we are asking for an even higher sentence. You guys, let's get into this. Diddy is playing a dangerous game of chicken, but again, kudos to the Southern District of New York for saying they will not operate from fear or out of favor. Get this. Prosecutors said they now expect Sean Diddy Combs could face a prison sentence substantially higher than the 4 to 5 years they once thought he was likely to face after his conviction on 2 prostitution-related charges. Let me just say this, because this is what really makes me mad about mainstream media. And I get it. But I get, oh, we're unbiased. But the way you phrase things has a way of making people miss the seriousness of this. It wasn't 2 prostitution-related charges. It was 2 federal sex crime convictions. Okay? 2 federal sex crime convictions, the Man's Act. They're directly what was reenacted from, yes, it has racist roots, but it was reenacted to put away sex traffickers. That's what it was reenacted for. That is what it was for. And that's what the prosecution is using it for. They made this observation. The prosecutor said this late Thursday in the Manhattan federal court written submission, in which they also opposed his request to be released on $50 million bail. Now, in early July, you guys know he was acquitted of conspiracy and sex trafficking charges because, in my opinion, the jury got it wrong. That's it. And it carried potential life prison terms, but was convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution for arranging for his girlfriends and male sex workers to travel and engage in sexual encounters that he filmed and that he masturbated to. The fact that Diddy's team is now trying to say, oh, that doesn't count as real sex. Well, did you masturbate? Did you have a happy ending? Seems like it, because the only time you didn't, you only paid the worker $500, but every other time you was paying them $5,000-$6,000. Okay. Each prostitute-related charge carries a potential maximum of 10 years in prison. Prosecutors said after the verdict that they thought a federal sentencing guidelines meant to prevent wide disparities in sentencings for the same crimes would likely call for a prison term of 4 to 5 years. That's what they said after the verdict, okay? But they said Thursday that they believe that the guidelines range will be substantially higher because they believe that Diddy will flee. Now, again, why are they using that to deny bail? Well, it's actually a really skilled but very simple legal argument. They're saying that, like, listen, before we were saying 4 to 5 years. Diddy was saying, okay, well, I got like what, a year, 2 years time served. I don't know how long that fool been locked up. We can ask the roaches. He was like, listen, I have all this stuff, so I can bite it out. I won't flee. Fine, you give me this. I might get time served, or at the very least, I maybe serve a year and then get out for good behavior on a commuted sentence, or maybe like time served, you know. Okay, bet. But they're saying, no. Maybe if we let him out on bail and that 4 to 5 years, including time served, which might be anywhere between 18 months and 2 years, maybe he won't flee and he'll say, I can stay here for 2 more years. But we're asking for substantially higher. And if we're asking for substantially higher, let's just say Diddy gets 8 years in jail. Let's just say he gets convicted of 10 years in jail. Would he be willing to flee and lose everything and leave penniless and be on the run just so he doesn't have to serve 10 years in jail? Well, I think he would. What do you have to prove? Well, in Diddy's motion for acquittal and for bail, he goes on and complains about how horrible the MDC is, and this is worse than hell, and it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. They took Diddy's own words as to how much he hates jail and how much this, and used it as reasons of, we actually think you might flee. Now get this, Judge Aaron will have wide latitude in determining a sentence and can choose to ignore guidelines, which are not mandatory. Again, Diddy's team knows that. That is why Trump is literally trying, in my opinion, to intimidate the judge. All these press releases that are coming out, that is to intimidate the judge, to let him know the White House is watching. And whether you are a Trump fan or not, we know that mofo is vindictive and keeps a grudge and is petty with it. Anyway, right? The judge, this is what everybody on Diddy's team won't tell you. There are no minimum or mandatory maximum guidelines. That means that unless mandatory means unless there are extenuating circumstances or just very incredible circumstances, you must stay within these guidelines or the sentencing could be appealed. So if there's a mandatory minimum and maximum of between 7 and 14 years, but you can go up to 40. If you give somebody 40, unless they did something so horrible that justifies it, you can get the sentencing overturned because you can say the judge was too harsh. However, with this, because there is no mandatory minimum or maximum guidelines, the judge can give up to 10 years for each count. And guess what? It's not appealable. Now, it might be pardonable, but it's not appealable. And being that Diddy is saying, there's been reports from the Rolling Stones that they are actually, right? That they are actually, there's been reports from the Rolling Stones that they are actually looking to buy a pardon. They're actually spending huge amounts of money to bribe senior Trump officials or Trump sources. They are saying, let me get back on track, okay? I'll talk about the Rolling Stone article and a different thing. They are saying that Diddy plans to be pardoned. Now, here's what I think. Because of what's going on with just saying Maxwell, I believe Trump's camp knows that if they pardon Diddy, there is going to be hell to pay. People are not going to go for it. I think they are trying to intimidate the prosecutors and the judge into giving either a lower sentencing recommendation or have the judge be like, well, never mind, it's only time served, because they are trying to intimidate, saying you don't want Trump breathing down your neck. I think that's why when Comey said we must act without fear and we must act without favor. However, if Judge Subramanian gives 20 years for this, there's no way that Diddy's team can appeal because there is no mandatory guidelines. Now, Diddy's lawyers have said they believe the guidelines, if properly calculated, will call it 21 to 27 months in prison. Oh, wow. Isn't that amazing? So it basically equals the time served. On the day of the verdict, prosecutors won a bail fight after defense lawyer Mark Agnifilo argued Diddy should be freed immediately on bail. The judge, if you remember, denied the defense request, saying Diddy had not met the burden showing by clear and convincing evidence a lack of danger to any person in the community. But he said that Mark Agnifilo could renew the request. In doing so Tuesday, Mark not only renewed the request, he cited other cases he said were comparable to Diddy's conviction in which defendants were granted bail. And he cited severe conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where Diddy had been held since his arrest in New York City. Now, mind you, when he was arrested, he had a roving freak-off factory and a woman in there and drugs and the heels and the stripper outfits. He was ready to have a freak-off. He also said Diddy was being treated unfairly for engaging in swingers lifestyle, in which he and his girlfriend sometimes invited male Smex workers to join them in multiple marathon Smex performances. Now, I will say this, the Swingers Associations of America, all four of them, have come out and said, hell to the nah, that Diddy is nothing like them. But again, Diddy's team just says words and stupid people just eat it up. And again, when I say stupid, I don't mean intelligence. That is not a mark of stupidity. Stupidity to me is when there is willful ignorance to facts. There are other viewpoints, there are other opinions, there are other facts around there, and you don't consider it. You just listen to what Diddy's team says, because if they said it in court, it must be true, right? Now, prosecutors said in their filing Thursday that Diddy's conviction on the prostitute-related charges carried a mandatory requirement that he remain in jail prior to sentencing, unless he could prove exceptional circumstances, which they said he cannot. That's another thing that the mainstream media refuses to pick up. That is something that the mainstream media refuses to pick up. Okay? The fact that there is a conviction on prostitute-related with a mandatory requirement that remain in jail. This is mandatory under the Mann Act. They said he should also remain in prison as a danger to the community. Again, Mark disregarded that. He said Sean will not be violent to anyone. As we said in court, this jury gave him his life back. He will not squander a second chance or life, nor would he do anything to further jeopardize his 7 children not having a father and 4 of his children not having a parent at all. First of all, you said that last time and he was beating up Jane all up and down the walls. Prosecutors also said conditions at the federal lockup have improved considerably before Diddy was arrested. A federal judge in January 2024 at blasted conditions at the jail, including its extensive lockdowns and inadequate medical care. Prosecutors also said that Mr. 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗞𝗦, in which the cases he listed, which other defendants received bail, were not comparable to the crimes that Diddy was convicted of carrying out, particularly because of his propensity to violence. They said Diddy's extensive history of violence and his continued attempt to minimize his recent violent conduct demonstrates his dangerousness and that he is not amendable to supervision. The defendant utterly fails to establish by clear and convincing evidence, as required, that he does not pose a danger to the community. You guys, listen, let me know what you think in the comments. The Rolling Stones did a great article. Shout out to Shirley Halpern for being named the first female chief editor of Rolling Stone. But we are going to actually get into that. Let me please know what you think. Join me live. We are going to be talking about this because there is so much to go over. And in the meantime, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.
I hope, it's almost like I can feel it, man. They just talking, man. Trump ain't gonna pardon this dude. There's no way in the world, man. Let's see what Willie D got to say. Trump says no pardon. Somebody else says Trump says no pardon. I really don't think a president of any kind should be getting into traffic case with a celebrity. What does that got to do with withholding the laws of the land? What does that have to do with making sure all the states are following what they supposed to do? Stay out the court system. Now, I'm thinking, remember now, pardons is to help benefit the United States. You give a person that we got in jail a pardon so they can go to their country and be in jail. I don't think, oh my God, I think people just want something to talk about, man. Who got infected at Diddy's mansion? Let's see what my man Willie D got to say real quick, then we'll end it. Trying to show y'all some beautiful Philippines,
What's up,
y'all.
family? Donald Trump, your president, has a decision to make. Pardon Diddy or not pardon Diddy. He was recently interviewed and asked that very question.
Man, all that is for entertainment, man. Diddy, man, y'all gotta think, man. That's just like, okay, let's keep going. I'm just gonna keep going.
Is a Sean Diddy Combs pardon likely? Now, as you know, Trump has hinted over and over and over and over and over again that he would indeed consider pardoning Diddy. But now it seems that he's had a change of heart. He was recently interviewed And he talked about how disappointed he was, and Diddy pretty much saying some bad things about him while he was running for president. He said, we were okay, I didn't know him that well. I found it interesting that he said he didn't know Diddy that well, but they're on all these different pictures together and they're partying and all that kind of stuff, and they're kicking it in. And in the past, Trump actually said that they were friends. But anyway, I find it interesting that he said that. Moving on, he said that pretty much he was hurt by Diddy making these inflammatory comments about him. And dude asked him point blank, the interviewer asked him point blank, would he pardon Diddy? And he said, probably not. Probably not.
I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Sorry. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. We got Mike 1 2 1 2. We don't have no, yeah, I think 1 2. Well, let me keep.
What y'all think about that, fam? I think he's still gonna pardon him. I think this is just posturing right now. And Trump is a very emotional dude, so as much as he is calculating when it comes to business and getting his way, he's still very much an emotional dude. And this speaks volume about the President of the United States making decisions to pardon a person based on how he feels about the person, rather than that person's character and ability to become reacclimated into society. Give me a thumbs up, fam, if you think Trump will pardon Diddy. Thumbs down if you say, nah, man, I don't know. I don't think the orange man gonna do that, man. I don't think it's gonna happen.
The orange man.
I very much think it'll happen. I think that Diddy still has resources. He has a lot of resources. He has a lot of influence. He has a lot of power. And if you can deliver any of those to Trump, then Trump will show you favor. As you know, Diddy was found guilty of a couple of counts of prostitution. He was found not guilty on the RICO charges, but those prostitution charges carry, depending on who you want to believe, anywhere from 2 to 10 years each count. 2 to 10 years in prison. Diddy is trying to get bail. Once again, he was denied bail. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time he was denied bail. But his sentencing is October 3rd. And it appears that Trump is going to wait until after he's sentenced to decide when he'll pardon him. I was about to say if he'll pardon him, but he's going to pardon him. Absolutely, he's going to pardon him. There ain't even a question. But he's going to wait, and I do believe Trump is going to wait because Trump wants to see how much time Diddy's going to have. So based on how much time Diddy's going to have, Trump will be able to wave that in his face and say, look, man, you had a 10-year sentence. I brought you home in one day. Kiss the ring, boy. Kiss the ring. Bow down, Kiss the ring. That's my belief. I think Trump is going to play Diddy like that. I do not believe that Diddy is going to be able to skate on these charges. At first, I thought that maybe they would allow him to go home, just based off the merit of the case. But that's not going to happen. They're going to give Diddy some time. And it's going to be up to Trump to make sure that he doesn't do that time. And I do believe that Trump is going to come through in the clutch for Diddy because Trump hands out pardons like candy. he ain't tripping on no pardon. If he believe that you can be an asset to him, or, you know, sometimes it appears that he ain't really even looking for no favors. It's like, I don't think the guy's guilty. I think the guy got railroaded. I think the guy got treated bad. Pardon him. But at the same time, if that is the case, if that is his temperament, well, how do you explain all the other people that have cases that he didn't pardon? But if that's the case, how do you explain all the people who's had these cases that most people took a look at and said, man, that guy got a raw deal, who are still in jail or may be out of jail but have not been pardoned? Things that make you go, But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Dude, real talk, I don't think a president should get into this. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all know presidents done did pardons before. Dude, these bugs is killing me out here, man. I gotta put on some office stuff. I'm gonna do 2 more at least. Dude, there's no way in the world they gonna give him a pardon. Think about it, y'all. Think about it. The president needs to be worrying about presidential stuff. If Trump gives him a pardon, we're talking about, you didn't show us the files. You got into this. You won presidency by doing all these lies. Now you're going to turn around and take this guy who was proven guilty on 2 counts. He need to do some time. He beat the RICO. Why are you stepping in? I think media, YouTube and everybody, I really think y'all done played this thing up so much that y'all done skewed this. Y'all skewed it all the way over to this way to say Trump playing around with y'all too. It's a media thing. Well, if I tell them exactly what I'm gonna do, then I don't get press. But if I hint around and act like I'm going to do it, possibly, well, I'm gonna look into the case. Trump said he gonna look into the case. Trump said he had look into the case to see if everything was right. He probably already looked into it and said everything was right. Let's go on to the next thing. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to think a little. Please, I can't wait till the verdict on this one is. So now I'm gonna say I told y'all, or this world is more this country. The United States is more crooked than what you think. I don't think he get no pardon from no president. I don't think it's no reason for him to get a pardon. It's no reason for him to get a pardon. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. This is ridiculous, man. I think Trump ain't gonna do nothing. And I think they made the story up because I think Trump already knew that Diddy was saying negative things about him. When Diddy's supposed to be your boy and he's saying negative things about you while you running. Oh, now I'm gonna get him back because of that. The president ain't getting into this, man. If that's the case, you might well get the president in every daggone court system. Every court situation the president should be in. Man, y'all take it light, take it slow. Y'all tell him Uncle Mike told you so. We are in the Philippines, baby. The album done dropped. Go check it out. Peace out.